Hey everyone, I'm Greg Landsman.
Hey, and I'm Marc Veasey, Congressman from Texas.
This is a bonus episode of the Fly-In. Obviously, Congress is on a district work period during the month of August. But there's a couple things that we wanted to cover. One was the redistricting war or wars happening all over the country, and in particular, what's going on in Texas. And then the latest in the Trump tariff or trade wars and how that is really starting to affect people's pocketbooks. So let's start with the Texas redistricting. As you all know, Mark is a member of the Texas delegation. He is in the middle of all this. As you all know, this is not supposed to happen. States do redistricting and set new congressional and legislative state legislative lines every 10 years, along with the census. But Texas has decided to redistrict this year. So, Mark, tell us what we need to know about what has happened and where things stand right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What has happened in Texas redistricting is that the Republicans have decided that they are once again going to do mid-decade redistricting. And as a result of that, it would basically eliminate we have from 13 Democratic seats and take us down to 8 Democratic seats. And so they would take 5 seats. And the bad part about that, and I'll be 100% honest with you, like my seat has definitely been chopped up in this map. That would make it very difficult for me to come back to Congress. Um, but what's really bad about that is not me not coming back, but it undermines Black and Latino voting strength in the state. And so I'm glad that the state legislators are here in Illinois, where I'm at right now.
Well,
Uh,
before we get into
yeah,
what's happening in Illinois and how that relates to Texas, you said
yeah,
this happened before.
yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about, the history there?
It happened before in 2003. I was a congressional staffer, ironically enough, for a member of Congress who had his seat redistricted. And the Democrats at that time went to Oklahoma, Ardmore, Oklahoma. Believe it or not, Oklahoma had a Democratic governor in 2003.
Yeah.
And so Democrats went to Ardmore, Oklahoma to break quorum, which is a completely legal tactic that people use in order to halt or slow down a legislative proceeding. So it's happened all the time. Both parties have used it, and there's nothing illegal about it, as Governor Abbott has indicated. But it did happen in 2003, and of course, I think the biggest thing that the biggest mistake that Democrats probably made in 2003 was that they did not redistrict back, and so Republicans felt there were no consequences for doing mid-decade redistricting, which is why I think that Trump decided to do it now. I really do believe that Trump, in his mind, thought that no Republicans would lose their seat and that Democrats would just roll over and take it like we did in 2003, and there would be absolutely no response to that. But things have changed now, and other states, blue states, are looking at doing redistricting now, which I think there's going to be a big announcement on that very soon. And it's unfortunate because we should not be doing mid-decade redistricting. The Constitution doesn't specifically say you can't do it, but it's clear that the framers only meant for us to do this once every 10 years after there was a remuneration, as the Constitution states. And so saying that it's going to only be good that you can do it whenever you want to is crazy. And what's going to happen is that Republican members are going to put their own members in jeopardy by doing this when blue states retaliate. And I think the House of Representatives could completely melt down because, if you're Darrell Issa or if you're McClintock or one of those guys in California, why should you cooperate on anything else if your speaker, the person that's supposed to look out for you as an incumbent, decided to just put you on the chopping blocks so they could gain favor with President Trump? The House is supposed to be their own entity. We're supposed to be co-equal branches, and the Speaker is supposed to be a strong individual, not someone that is subservient to the president.
In 2003, when folks went to Oklahoma,
Yeah.
how long did that last? And then,
When they went to Oklahoma, I think it lasted a little over a week.
and then they came back and ultimately,
Yes, they came back. There was actually Tom DeLay uh, almost kind of in a Trumpian-like way, actually used a military jet to track a tail number from a plane that was flown up there. He knew that the Speaker of the House at the time, that was a Democrat, had a plane that he used to fly different places, and they actually used the F-16 to track the tail number on the plane.
And they came back, ended up going ahead and redistricting.
And they did. And they did. They came back and they redistricted. And that was really the end of a lot of cooperation and cohesion between Democrats and Republicans in the delegation. Before that, Democrats and Republicans in Texas would meet once a week for lunch.
Yeah.
And we would talk about issues that, it was before I was in Congress, but again, I was a staffer for a member of Congress at the time. And they would talk about issues that were, and how they could work together on issues that would be good for Texas. And of course, that cooperation just it ended because there was no more trust. When again, when none of the Republican members at that time, when they were just completely subservient and servile, and none of them spoke out against the process, it really just eroded the trust that they had, and it was a loss for the state of Texas.
Yeah, and it's called redistricting, but when either party does it this way, it's about rigging the game. It's a rigging the election. I mean, instead of having voters pick their politicians, which is what the Constitution envisions and what democracy demands. The way that partisan gerrymandering works is that you have a bunch of politicians picking their voters,
Yeah,
and I saw one member of the state legislature, Texas state legislature, say, "I'm not fleeing, I'm fighting," and I thought that was an important distinction because the fight here is around rigging elections. And so,
right.
what can you tell us about what's happening in Illinois now?
In Illinois right now, we have over 50 members of the Texas state legislature, Democrats, that are here fighting the redistricting. It was a sham process. The Republicans had very quick hearings and turned the map around. Constituents and Black, brown, and Asian constituents around the state of Texas had very little time to ponder these maps, or have time to respond, to come to to comment on what they thought the final product of the map would look like. As a matter of fact, there was like zero time
Yeah,
to comment.
they didn't care what voters thought. They had a map that they wanted
Yeah,
that would allow them to change the without a single vote being cast in any election.
that's right.
They had a map that they wanted to pursue that would, in their minds, allow them to change the partisan delegation, the
That's
partisan
right.
mix of the delegation.
They had to be clear, they had a law firm draw a map. The Republican state legislators actually testified that they did not draw the map. They had a law firm that drew the map, and that law firm decided that the map was going to look this way, probably at the behest of Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, is my guess.
And in Illinois, they are going to stay for A, how long? B, what is the cost to individuals here? And what's your recommendation? I mean, how are you seeing this?
The cost to them is very steep. It's $500 a day. And unlike the process that we serve in as U.S. House members, where Hakeem Jeffries is our Democratic leader, and Hakeem decides which committee assignments people are going to have, who's going to be the ranking member of the committee. It's completely opposite in Texas politics. In Texas politics, the Speaker of the House decides what committee everybody goes on, Democrat and Republican, and they decide who's going to be the chair or vice chair of a committee. And vice chairs, which are Democrats, they actually get budgets now. They get a small amount of money so they can hire extra employees to help them as ranking members or vice chairs, as they called it, on these committees. And so for a lot of these people, they're going to lose that. And so they're risking a lot. They're being brave. And I think that it is what they're doing is they're standing up for constituents, particularly constituents that are Black, brown, and Asian, that have been marginalized for so long in Texas politics, and they're fighting for them. And so I applaud them for that.
How long do you think they'll be there? I mean, what is the strategy as
I
you?
don't know how long they're going to be there. They're saying they're going to be here for as long as it takes, uh, and um, and I think that that's a good thing. I think that everyone wants to see people stand up to cronyism, corruption, and the abuse that a lot of people feel is taking place on an official level at the White House, including this mid-decade redistricting scheme. And if people don't see that individuals like these brave Texas Democrats, if they see that they're not standing up to those things like cronyism and corruption, then people will lose faith. And if people lose faith in our system, then that's it. We're no longer a functioning, country or a functioning republic anymore. And so I think that it's amazing what they're doing. I hope they stay here for as long as it takes. And we can start getting down to the people's business and getting some real things done. In Texas right now, we really need to be focused on these floods. Redistricting is the last thing that the state of Texas should even be thinking about right now. The number one priority needs to be those victims, that those kids that drown, the campers and camp personnel that drown, the people that live in that area, and the families that have been impacted by this.
You're in Illinois. Why'd you
Yeah,
go?
I came here to support the Democrats that have broke quorum. Again, breaking quorum is a completely legal and official act that Democrats and Republicans have used since the beginning of our republic
Yeah.
in order to protest and fight back against tyranny in the majority. And so that is why I'm here to show support and let them understand that as a member of Congress, that I fully am appreciative of the sacrifices that they're doing for themselves, their families. Texas legislators only make a few $1,000s a year in salary. And so for a lot of these people, they're actually leaving their jobs behind while they're here. And I 100% applaud them for the sacrifice that they are making for all the people of Texas, Republican, Democrat, independent, black, white, brown, anyone that believes that discrimination is wrong and that you don't change the rules in the middle of the ball game. You don't all of a sudden say, "Hey guys, we're going to play a baseball game that lasts 9 innings," and then in the middle of the game, when you're up by a few runs, you decide that, you know what, we're going to shut the game off at 7 innings for after all. That's how brawls break out, and that is how democracies cease to function. And I'm glad that, again, that these legislators are saving our democracy, saving our republic from changing rules in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are both good government folks. New Dems is a good government, good policy group. I mean, it's less about the partisan stuff and more about what leads to good government and good policy and then that is like having real elections and having every voter have their vote counted and having voters pick their politicians and not politicians picking their voters. So I just think this is fundamental to getting to a place where we have good government and good policy.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
All right, before we get out of here, I just want to get your thoughts on the tariff news and sort of what's happened recently with the economy, how it's playing out in Texas. The new tariff level is announced August 1st. They'll go into effect on the 7th. They range from 10% to 41% on imports from nearly 70 countries. And then, of course, the economy based on nonpartisan reporting, the economy is heading in the wrong direction, as we all know and can feel. So it's not like it was a surprise, but things are getting worse.
Yeah.
And instead of course correcting and appreciating that this is all man-made, like most economic downturns have to do with, a pandemic or a war or something. This is entirely driven by one person and Trump and those who enable him in the Republican-controlled Congress. Instead of saying, "Look, I'm going to fix this. These numbers are very, very bad. The economy is obviously heading in the wrong direction." He fired the people who put the data out. I mean, what are you hearing back home?
Yeah, the one of the big things that I'm hearing back home is that once word kind of got out that this woman that he fired that was in charge of these numbers, she passed confirmation overwhelmingly, 86 senators, Democrats and Republicans, by overwhelming bipartisan vote, gave her the nod, including J.D. Vance, including J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, two loyal people in Trump's cabinet. And not only that, for the last few job reports since Trump has been in the White House, they were actually high-fiving each other, talking about look at how great we're doing. Look at these job numbers. And now all of a sudden he's put the Trump tariff taxes in. He's run off a lot of the labor and people are starting to tighten up their budgets now. I don't know if you saw that story about the roofer that owns his own roofing company that voted for Trump. And now he's trying to figure out how he's going to stay in business because Trump has scared off all of his workers. And so that guy can't spend any more. He doesn't have any more income or even discretionary income. And so the labor market's tightening up. It's I don't think that it's that difficult. And he fires this woman, and I guess he's going to put someone in there that's just going to give us bullshit numbers for the next 3 years. And if he does that, that's probably going to make the economy even worse because people won't have confidence that the reports that they're getting are actually true.
Yeah, the downturn in the economy, how problematic these numbers are, the jobs numbers, the inflation numbers, it is a combination of the trade war and the uncertainty around these tariffs and the higher prices around the tariffs. It's also just this chaotic immigration policy where people are struggling to get the workers they need. And then there's this, this tourism piece where no one's coming here anymore,
No,
or that number is dropping considerably. Again, all driven by a person, a single person who is, I'd say single-handedly tanking the economy, but he's doing it with some help from other billionaires and congressional Republicans. For at least for the billionaires, they're making more money.
right.
That's what we understand is that they make money off of whether they're shorting the market or whatever kind of crazy corrupt thing is happening. I mean, it's again part of this larger issue where the elite and these billionaires, seem to be doing just fine, and everything's getting worse for the rest of us. Again, this all speaks to us getting a government of people that work for Americans who just want common sense, adult, normal, pragmatic leadership where people. Republicans and Democrats are working together to solve problems. So hopefully we'll get there. Keep up the good fight. Thanks for joining us from Illinois, wherever you
Yeah.
are in the great state of Illinois, and doing this bonus episode with me. And for everyone listening, thanks for tuning in this week. As always, before we take off, please remember to follow us across social media platforms, rate, review, leave a comment wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next time.
See y'all later.